FAA, be crewed flights. I was there to see Wally get her wings in DC. It was such a special day, a huge honor for her to finally achieve this lifelong dream. And she was recently awarded the National Air and Space Museum's 2022 Michael Collins Trophy. This award recognizes outstanding achievements in the fields of aerospace, science, and technology. And if all of those awards weren't enough, Wally was also presented the 2021 Hoover Trophy. This trophy is awarded to aviators who inspire a love of flight in others. All of us at Team Blue are so proud of Wally.
Turning our attention to the day at hand, every flight for New Shepard is another step towards our mission of building a road to space. In 2021, we flew 14 people to space across 3 human flights. This year, we expect to at least triple that number. And how do we get there? With safety at the center. Safety is our highest priority at Blue Origin. It's embedded in every part of the New Shepard vehicle design, its launch operation, our culture. And prior to our first human flight, we went through a rigorous program before being certified to fly humans to space.
That's right, Eddie. And the numbers here speak for themselves. 15 successful test flights completed before first human flight, development of our full envelope crew escape system, which we then successfully tested 3 times. We did a successful test flight with 2 parachutes, so that's 1 parachute out, and of course, demonstration of those redundant landing systems on New Shepard.
Something we've heard time and again from our astronauts is just how moving it is to see Earth from space. It's a reminder that just a few dozen miles of atmosphere, almost nothing, stands between us and the vastness of space. The Earth, our Earth, the one we have, is fragile and must be protected.
And this core value of preserving Earth is foundational to all of our work at Blue Origin. And it goes from the design of our vehicles to how we work with our communities when building, refurbishing, and expanding new facilities. But it's also a longer-term vision focused on utilizing space and its tremendous resources to benefit all of us here on Earth.
And it's an incredibly inspiring mission. One of the earliest technology capabilities we identified to enable this vision was our ability to work with liquid hydrogen. We know there's water on the moon, and one of the main constituents of water is hydrogen. It's why we design with reusability in mind, why our lunar lander is powered by the liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen BE-7 rocket engine. And I'm proud to share some footage with you all from a recent BE-7 test.
As you can see from that video, we never stopped working on lunar technologies here at Blue Origin. This BE-7 test is actually just from earlier this year at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. Huge shout out to our Huntsville, Alabama test team.
What an incredible crew.
The moon is critical to Blue's long-term vision, and we're so excited about NASA's recent announcement of the Sustaining Lunar Development Program. Our lunar capabilities like BE-7 are advancing so quickly because they're directly tied to other programs at Blue Origin, like the BE-3 engine flying on New Shepard today.
That's right, Jackie. The BE-3 is also powered by liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, and because of that, we get to practice critical elements of our future moon landings. Everything that we do today informs all we'll do in the future. It's all connected.
And that next step is today, where we continue to practice our human spaceflight operations. Earlier this morning, our astronauts arrived to the Astronaut Training Center. Here they are in the early hours of the morning here in West Texas, pulling up in those Rivians.
Man, I can't wait to see their smiles. What an adventure in store for them today.
Sharon Hagel looking excited and ready to go on today's flight.
I don't think I would even need coffee. It was just
Your adrenaline would carry you through.
I think that's right. So moments ago, Sarah Knights, our crew member 7, the crew's trainer and guide through the entire astronaut experience, presented a special challenge coin that will fly with each astronaut to space today. And Jackie, you know the only way to get one is to fly on New Shepard. If you're interested in purchasing a ticket on New Shepard, the first step is to visit blueorigin.com and click on our link, Fly to Space. We'd love to provide you with a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Soon here, we'll see the crew exit the astronaut training center, stand by in their Rivian vehicles, awaiting that official go from mission control so the astronaut load process can begin. We'll keep eyes on our crew all the way to the launch tower and into the crew capsule. Coming up just shortly here, our crew will be exiting. Let's stay tuned for that. While we have a moment here awaiting our crew's exit from the astronaut training center, let's check on the latest with Club for the Future, Blue Origin's nonprofit foundation.
19 separate organizations each received $1 million grants from the Club for the Future, thanks to the $28 million donation stemming from the sale of the first seat on New Shepard. These grants are creating incredible momentum for these organizations, and one of the groups that we'd like to highlight today is the Brooke Owens Fellowship. A couple of alums recently sat down to discuss the power of that organization in our industry. Here's Blue Origin's B4 propulsion test manager, Sophia Porter, and the space gal, Emily Calandrelli.
Emily, it is so great to connect today. Tell me more about your role and the Brooke Owens organization.
My name is Emily Calandrelli. A lot of people on the internet know me as the Space Gal, and I am part of the executive team of the Brooke Owens Fellowship. I want to find some tangible way to make the aerospace industry better and more welcoming for women and other gender minorities. Because when you are a gender minority in a field like aerospace, oftentimes you feel a little bit left out. And so being part of the Brooke Owens Fellowship, you become part of this support community that you can go to for advice or to vent or just to talk about opportunities and strategies for how to navigate your career.
It's really been an honor for me to be a Brooke Owens Fellow as well. It placed me with Blue Origin for my internship, and I absolutely fell in love with this company. I eventually accepted a full-time job at Blue, and I've been here for 3 years.
I hear that over and over and over again from all of these people who win the Brooke Owens Fellowship, and it just changes the trajectory of their career.
I'm curious what you thought about the experience of being at Launch Site 1 during a New Shepard launch.
There's like electricity in the air because you're there with other people who work at Blue, who've worked on the rocket. And so being able to go there and watch it in person was an experience I'll never forget.
It's been so great getting to speak with you, Emily, and I really am personally very grateful for all that you're doing for the fellowship.
And that's what Club for the Future is all about. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Emily. And thank you, the Brooke Owens Fellowship, for the difference you're making in our industry. What an inspiration.
Truly inspiring stuff. Shortly here, our crew will receive that official go from Mission Control to begin the astronaut load-in process. That should come at about T-minus 45 minutes. Once they get that go, they'll travel down the road to space to the launch pad. From there, it's getting real. They'll ascend the launch tower, stand by in the safety shelter, cross the gantry, and ingress into the crew capsule, where Capcom, Kevin Sprague, will be communicating with them from the time the hatch is closed through the entire flight and all the way to crew capsule touchdown.
Kevin's joined today by Laura Stiles. She's a crew member 7 in training, and before joining the CM7 team, she led New Shepard's flight operations team. Some of you may recall she was sitting in my seat here at the desk on the last launch.
That's right, Eddie, you have big shoes to fill.
I couldn't agree more.
I hope you're ready.
Laura's had a stellar career with us. She's been with Blue since 2013, beginning with the new graduate rotation program, and eventually she became one of Blue's first qualified capsule controllers. It's very cool to see her in this position, and I can't wait to see her lead her own mission as crew member 7.
We are cheering on Laura from the desk today. And checking back in on Club for the Future, today's astronaut crew continued our tradition of making their own postcards on behalf of Club to fly with them to space and back today. This gives each astronaut the chance to share a few words of inspiration for the next generation. Some great art we see here. I love Gary Lai's solar system, I think that looks like.
Yeah, no, I think it's a 2-scale drawing of our solar system, and then we've got some inspiring messages of being brave, and you can do it. Absolutely, you all, you can do it. All right, we're moments away from Mission Control's official go for astronaut load-in to begin. While we wait for that, let's take a quick break.
And there they are, our crew departing the Astronaut Training Center.
Oh, we've got a nice wave there from Jim.
They are moving with purpose. We're seeing that natural energy you mentioned earlier, Eddie.
Oh, I wish I was there with them. Just sign me up.
In the driver's seat there, crew member 7, Sarah Knights. If you're just joining us, welcome to Blue Origin's 4th human flight. Our crew is on the move. They received the official go for astronaut load. They're on the way to the rocket that will take them to space and back.
And a little hard to see from our footage there, but that is my favorite parade. The energy is incredible. It's a chance for Team Blue. Look at Gary, look at how happy he is. But it's a chance for Team Blue, the crew's friends, family, really everyone, to whoop it up and support the astronauts one last time before launch. Now, we're down there with cowbells making noise, but the astronauts, they're focused, they're calm, they look ready to fly.
I love hearing those cowbells, and I'm a little mad at you, Eddie. You didn't bring us a cowbell for the desk.
Nonetheless, we're supportive of our crew today. Did you see those smiles?
So excited for this team. As you can tell, on this road to space, visiting Space on New Shepard is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you'd like to purchase a ticket for this amazing journey, visit blueorigin.com and click Fly to Space. As they make their way to the rocket, let's meet today's crew.
In seat number 1 is Senior Director and Chief Architect of New Shepard, Gary Lai. Gary was one of Blue Origin's first 20 employees and is the architect of our New Shepard system. His contributions to this rocket, this company, this industry have been monumental. He leads by example with humility, compassion, and intelligence, and he's the benchmark for what we humbly aspire to each day at Blue Origin. I know that flying on New Shepard has been Gary's dream since day 1. He's worked so hard and so long for this. Emotional day for all of us to watch that dream come true.
George Neild is in seat number 2. He founded Commercial Space Technologies to encourage and facilitate commercial space activities. But previously, George had a very big job as the FAA's Associate Administrator for Commercial Space Transportation for a decade, from 2008 to 2018, a role in which he was pivotal in paving the way for the success of commercial spaceflight. The whole industry thanks you, George. We're honored to give him the view of Earth he's been dreaming about since he was a child.
Now, some have called him the modern-day Marco Polo. Jim Kitchen is in seat number 3 today. He's a professor at the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, an entrepreneur and world traveler. Today, he'll become the first person to have visited all 193 UN-recognized countries and traveled to space. He's done more than just step foot in these countries. He really experiences them. He's hunted Goliath frogs in Cameroon, interviewed residents of an internally displaced people camp in Iraq, and today he'll experience the final frontier, space. Jim is very much looking forward to seeing a borderless planet and connecting that experience with all of us back here on Earth.
In seat number 4 is legendary entrepreneur, angel investor, and former CEO of Party America, Marty Allen. Marty is a lifelong aviation enthusiast who, get this, Eddie, he soloed his first airplane on his 16th birthday before he had a driver's license.
That's incredible.
Marty's a true adventurer, a lifelong sailor and racer of boats and cars. He was actually released from the Navy flight program because of allergies, but rest assured, Marty, allergies won't hold you back today.
That's right, Marty. Godspeed. Husband and wife Mark and Sharon Hagel are in seats 5 and 6 today. Sharon's an educator and philanthropist, and Mark is the president and CEO of Tricor International, a residential and commercial property development corporation. In 2015, Sharon founded nonprofit Space Kids Global, whose mission is to inspire students, particularly young girls, to excel in science, technology, engineering, art, and math. To date, Sharon has reached nearly an incredible 100,000 students globally.
Our crew is circling the ring road right now next to their live and waiting rocket. So excited for this crew, and I certainly know that Eddie and I are biased, but we're especially thrilled for Gary Lai. He's such an icon inside and outside Blue Origin.
I'm the chief architect of New Shepard, and I've been working on the program from the very beginning. So I joined Blue Origin in March of 2004 as one of its first 20 employees, and that was actually before the New Shepard program even officially began. In that time, it was just a concept, a little bit more advanced than a napkin sketch, and I helped build the team that would eventually design and put it together. When most people look at the New Shepard, they might see the astounding technology. To me, New Shepard is about the wonderful team that I've had the pleasure to work with over 18 years. I'm one of those people, and there are a lot of us at Blue, where opening the road to space for humanity is a calling. As humans, our grandest accomplishments happen because we are explorers by our fundamental nature. There is such a grand space and universe out there with so many resources and so many things to explore. I almost would not know what to do with myself, and I have very few useful skills, I think, that are not related to flying people to space. There's very few jobs, very few professions, and very few places where you have that combination of working on something so important that is at the same time so challenging and so rewarding. I can't wait to fly on the New Shepard vehicle. Everyone we talk to that has been to space described going into space as a life-changing experience. I don't know how I'll feel, actually, on that date. Obviously, it'll be a cause of celebration, but it will also be a period of a lot of self-reflection. This is a once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-career opportunity to follow a program from start to finish to such a major goal. So I hope I will feel that it was as meaningful as the amount of time and energy that we put into it.
It is safe to say all of us at Team Blue are so excited to fly Gary Lai.
Fly Gary Lai.
Hashtag fly Gary Lai.
That's right.
We're thrilled for Gary today. Words truly cannot describe it, and I am absolutely thrilled to say Gary is currently climbing the launch tower in the bottom right of your screen. If meeting Gary is any indication, we're passionate about doing meaningful, historic work here at Blue Origin. Come join Gary, Eddie, myself, and the rest of us here at Team Blue. We're quickly growing across the country.
We have offices and factories in Washington, Florida, Texas, Alabama, Washington, D.C., and California. We've recently expanded to Colorado, Virginia, and Arizona. Big initiatives require the best and the brightest, like Gary Lai, like Jackie, like you. Come work with the smartest people on the planet, solving the most interesting challenges as we build a road to space. Encourage you to visit our website for more details. And as we see our astronauts ascend the tower, let's take a moment to discuss some of the things each astronaut will fly with today. Jim Kitchen is carrying his 10 passports with him. The one with the Ukraine stamp will be in the pocket closest to his heart. He's also carrying a Ukraine flag and an American flag.
Marty will be bringing a 10-foot by 6-foot American flag made to fit exactly inside his flight bag. He'll be hanging this flag in his front yard when he returns home from space, to be Marty's neighbor.
Sharon will be bringing challenge coins from her STEAM-focused nonprofit, Space Kids Global.
Mark will be bringing a small stuffed drum from Purdue University, his alma mater. Mark actually used to play drums in the Purdue marching band. And fun fact, Eddie, Purdue is home to the world's largest drum.
I did not know that, but boiler up. Dr. George Neild will be bringing numerous patches and other artifacts from his storied aerospace career, as well as his Air Force Academy badge.
And one of the things Gary Lai is bringing with him is a first edition copy of the book, From the Earth to the Moon.
And our crew just exited the safety shelter, crossed the gantry to their crew loading tower, and they're entering the capsule in ascending order. Gary Lai in the first seat, George Neild in the second seat, Jim Kitchen in seat number 3, Marty Allen in seat number 4, and Sharon Hagel and Mark Hagel in seat number 5 and 6.
Our crew is seated in the New Shepard crew capsule, and crew member 7, Sarah Knights today, is helping them into the capsule, getting them all situated, getting them all buckled into those seats. But Eddie, they've been down here in West Texas for a few days.
Yeah.
They're very well practiced in buckling those seatbelts. Tell us a little bit about astronaut training.
Yeah, no, our astronauts arrive a few days before their launch, and they learn everything about the New Shepard system. They practice harnessing their buckles, getting into their seats, getting out of their seats, what the correct microgravity etiquette is, and it's just an incredible experience. Can you imagine going through that experience with the architect of New Shepard, Gary Lai?
I truly can't. I mean, talk about subject matter expertise. I also, it was so funny, I was thinking about Kevin and Sarah training Gary Lai to go on this experience. The architect of New Shepard, Gary Lai. He's actually right there on the left when you're peering into the open hatch here. Just so thrilled. It's unbelievable to see Gary in that seat.
Absolutely. And what an experience for our astronauts to train with Gary, to hear the stories and the context and behind the whys of how New Shepard is today, and of course about our vision and this inspiring mission that Gary has undertaken now for over 18 years. That's perseverance, it's diligence, it's determination. He's designed, he's built, he's tested, and today he's flying New Shepard.
We said it before, #FlyGaryLye. Shortly coming up here is the hatch closure. So at this point, our tower crew and our crew member 7 are doing those final preparations. Let's check in on that.
Your truck to space. We're going to get started with astronaut contact. Astronaut Lie, how do you read?
No control, astronaut Lie, loud and clear.
Astronaut Niels, how do you read?
Niels, loud and clear.
Astronaut Marco, how do you read?
Polo, loud and clear.
Astronaut Marty, how do you read?
Astronaut Marty, all is good.
Astronaut Space Cadet, how do you read? Astronaut March, how do you read?
Exxon March, stay okay.
All right, Blue Control has all astronauts loud and clear. At this point, Sarah's out. You're going to see Felix for a moment, and then we'll be getting into...
Thanks for joining us for our 4th human flight. As you just heard, those were our capsule communicators, Kevin Sprague and crew member 7 in training, Laura Stiles, checking in with our 6 astronauts today. George Niels, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and the architect of New Shepard, Blue Origin's very own Gary Lye, are loaded into the RSS First Step, awaiting a life-changing experience to space and back.
And we just had a great shot of Gary and his smile, and of course, the RSS First Step over the hatch. It means reusable spaceship. This capsule has already gone to space 5 times, and it did so in the span of 12 months. Operational reusability, like today's 6th flight, is an underlying philosophy at Blue. It's fundamental to ultimately and dramatically reducing the cost of access to space. I'm just blown away when I think about New Shepard's vehicles being designed for 100 uses. We work towards that goal step by step.
We're at just about T-minus 23 minutes until launch. While we have a moment, let's take a closer look at today's 4th human flight crew, dubbed the Roaring 20s.
I love that name.
I've really been interested in space since I was a child. Used to cut out articles in the newspaper about the space chimps and the Mercury astronauts.
One of my earliest childhood memories was watching an Apollo launch off the coast of Florida, and it was amazing. I wanted to be an astronaut.
What order do you fasten your
I've been working on New Shepard from the very beginning. I've been involved in every single aspect of the design and production of the vehicles.
I used to parachute jump, and I liked the adrenaline rush that you get. And this has got to be off the charts.
Our family has always thought we've been crazy because we do some high experience things. And I think by the time we got to this one, there was a little bit of acceptance that that's who they are, and there's not a whole lot we can say about it.
Having been to all 193 countries and to be able to go to space and see this borderless planet, I think is so meaningful, especially given all that the world is going through right now.
I think space is really our future.
This is so exciting because we're on the edge of a new generation, a new frontier.
We must explore and understand the universe, and especially our local solar system.
This is a new era of the unbelievable, where a teacher from North Carolina gets to go to space.
The day of the launch, when that rocket gets in and you start feeling the power of it, I don't even know what I'm going to think.
Looking out the window and seeing the black sky and the curvature of the Earth is really going to be special.
Here I am with this opportunity of a lifetime, and it's just amazing.
To be able to fly with this crew, and including Gary Lai, who's had such a major role in creating New Shepard, is just very special to me.
Where are you guys going? Space!
Yeah, let's fly.
The crew, the Roaring 20s, are in the capsule, and that hatch is closed, Eddie. I love the name they gave themselves. An ode, I think, to so many things. This is New Shepard's 20th mission.
That's right.
We're in the 2020s.
And we're...
maybe the roar of that BE-3 engine.
I think it's the roar, but it's also the fact that this is the new era of commercial human spaceflight, and what a time to be alive.
I love it. Let's go with that. It's such a unique shared experience for the crew. The bonds they form here in West Texas will last a lifetime. In a few moments, we'll have a special message for our crew from our Capcom, Kevin Sprague, who you saw just a minute ago. But first, we want to share a piece featuring Kevin in a new segment.
Club for the Future works with students from across the country to provide the chance to ask Blue Origin experts questions about rockets and engines and space. And my new favorite segment, our very first, Q for Blue.
Hi, my name is Hazia Puga. I go to SEAM Academy and I'm from Lexington, Kentucky. Right now in physics, I am studying gravitational energy and mass versus weight. My question is, what is the speed of the capsule on re-entry with and without the parachute? Thank you.
This is a great question because it really shows you the effect of our atmosphere on a spacecraft. The descent phase of flight starts at the very top of the capsule's ascent, called apogee, which happens around 350,000 feet. At this point, the capsule comes to a momentary complete stop and then begins to fall back to Earth, accelerating the entire way, reaching speeds of over 2,000 miles an hour, more than 3 times the speed of sound. Once the capsule re-enters the atmosphere, its wide, flat-bottom shape causes drag. The capsule keeps falling at about 250 miles per hour until the moment the parachutes are deployed. Once that happens, the capsule speed drops to an easy 16 miles an hour, and our soft landing system activates just before touchdown to give the astronauts a nice, gentle landing.
And what an insightful question from Club for the Future. Kevin, thank you for walking us through that. Safe to say, Jackie, that we'll be able to live that right now. We'll see it live, and we'll be able to apply everything we've learned as it's happening real time.
That's right, Eddie, and we're just about 18 and a half minutes away from that moment. Let's take a quick breather. We'll be right back. If you're just joining us, we're at about T-minus 16 minutes until our 4th human flight. As you can see from these beautiful shots, our crew are strapped in, the hatch is closed, and the tower crew is just doing some final checkouts prior to today's mission, alongside crew member 7, Sarah Knight, standing there in the black flight suits.
And can you imagine their view? These largest windows, some of the largest windows to have flown in space, they're sitting 80 feet in the air, looking out on the far west Texas desert, and there's this world-class launch pad right next to them.
Crew member 7, Sarah Knight, waving to the crew as she departs the tower.
I think I saw a thumbs up.
Coming up here shortly, we're going to have a very special message for today's crew from some of the astronauts who have flown on New Shepard before. Coming up here shortly will be the voice of our capsule communicator, Kevin Sprague. Let's listen in.
The NS-19 crew, who called themselves the Original Six, and they wanted to wish you well, the Roaring 20s, on your flight to space. Astronaut Michael Strahan, known as Astronaut Stray, wanted you to know the trip will go by in a flash in the moment, but your memory will make it seem like it was hours. Let your senses take over. Enjoy the ride. Take it all in. And don't forget to look out the window. Astronaut Weezer, Laura Shepard Churchley, wanted you to know you are confident to go because you have had the best training for this magnificent experience. The force you feel on launch is like being in the fastest car you've ever been in, and the pressure on your chest is great, but endurable. Weightlessness is heavenly. The 6 Gs you feel on the way back home are thrilling because you won't ever feel that amount of pressure on your body again in your life. Try lifting your arms off the armrest when you're under 6G. This is the best ride you will ever have, but it's way too short. Have a blast. Standby 1. First step, blue control. We're getting ready to go escape enabled. Look for that blue light. Taylor wanted you to know you are about to see the universe as it truly is. Thoroughly enjoy the experience, and then take this gift of perspective to help make a better world for all of humanity.
It's so cool to see the community of Blue Origin astronauts getting a little larger, launch by launch, step by step. We had a few messages there from the previous crew, the original 6, and just what perspective. I think I heard that New Shepard is the best ride ever, too. So I'm going to quote that. We have entered a hold at the moment, and we're going to hang out here while we get back to you.
Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight. Our crew is buckled into the capsule. We're in a brief hold here, but New Shepard did just hit a big milestone in today's operations and went escape enabled. Eddie, tell us about the significance of this moment.
That's right, Jackie. Escape enabled is a pivotal moment in our flight preparation. Earlier, we talked about the full envelope escape system that we've thoroughly tested here in West Texas, all the way from the launch pad to max Q to near apogee escapes. So this system enables our mission assurance today, and so they've got a lot of roomy space in the capsule, 15 cubic meters to float around, but they will be protected the entire time by this escape system.
Of course, safety is at the center of everything we do here at Blue Origin. We'll be right back. Thank you for joining us today for Fourth Human Flight. We remain in a brief hold here, but you are getting some beautiful views of Van Horn, Texas in the background from our amazing camera crew. We actually have an expert here at the desk today. Eddie lived in Van Horn and worked at Launch Site 1 for a large part of his career at Blue Origin, many years. Eddie, tell us about your time at Launch Site 1, living in Van Horn in this amazing and special community.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jackie. I've been so lucky to have started my career here at Blue Origin at our West Texas Launch Site 1, working on the West Texas test stands. You know, Van Horn is really in the middle of nowhere, West Texas, but it's a slice of home for me and for us at Blue Origin. We moved to Van Horn in 2006. Our founder, Jeff Bezos, gave the scoop to the Van Horn Advocate all those years ago that we were going to be here, that they would hear the roar of our engines and see the beautiful flying vehicles go to the edge of space and back. Now that operation has changed since 2006. We've grown a lot. We're over 300 employees, and we've launched 19 times, going on 20, and we continue to test the BE3 engine, the BE3 propulsion module, the BE3U engine for New Glenn, and of course the BE4 engine for Vulcan for New Glenn. And it's an incredible operation. Our team here has a dream job. They design, they build, they test, they push those systems to the limit, and then they learn. And it's part of the reason that we're able to today with certainty say that we believe and are proud of our mission assurance that this BE3 engine and this new Shepard system will keep our astronauts safe on this incredible ride to space.
Van Horn is truly such a special place. Every time we're here, we love seeing the signs of support for Blue Origin. The community here is truly unmatched.
Absolutely, and I'm so proud of the employees that have helped and have gotten involved in the community and have really helped Van Horn grow up with us. And that's super important because this is our home.
So special. Thank you for those special memories and insights, Eddie. We remain in a brief hold here, so let's check out more of those beautiful West Texas views, and we'll be right back. As you can see, we currently remain in a hold while Mission Control makes sure all systems and weather are aligned for today's flight. But while we have a moment, let's talk about how our learnings from the BE3 engine flying today on New Shepard are carried forward into the BE3U program.
Here at Blue Origin, we're building the next generation of American-made rocket engines.
And liftoff.
We picked hydrogen for New Shepard so that we could get the learning that we needed for our ultimate orbital launch vehicles. We need the performance from hydrogen for the upper stage.
The BE3 PM engine is highly reusable, human-rated. It provides a really good opportunity for us to practice.
Since we've been able to fly BE3 PM on multiple New Shepard flights, we learned a lot about how to operate a hydrogen-oxygen engine. So So now we have taken the BE-3PM design and optimized it for use in space as a second stage engine for New Glenn. We call it BE-3U.
The BE-3PM is about 110,000 pounds thrust, and the BE-3U is 160,000 pounds thrust. There's 7 BE-4s that are the booster engine for New Glenn. The BE-3U engine is the upper stage engine, so at about 200,000 feet of altitude, it lights off and takes the payload into orbit. We're engine testing now. We're doing a few design tweaks based on what we've learned, and by the end of this year, we should be up to full rate production.
It is just an exhilarating feeling to watch all of our hard work come together and see that engine actually come to life.
One of the reasons I came to Blue after a career of doing engines is just the numbers of engines we're doing. We're supporting research, production, flight. That's unique to Blue.
I thoroughly enjoyed all of those shots of our West Texas test stands. You know, Jackie, when I first moved to West Texas, I started on the BE-3 engine test stand. We call it the Geeks test stand, the Giant Engine Experiment test stand. And it's a prolific test stand that tests both the BE-3PM version and the BE-3U upper stage version. For a little over 10 years now, that test stand has been testing full-scale BE-3 engines. They've ratcheted up 1,000 different hot fires and over 100,000 seconds of test. So when I say it's prolific, it's because they test day in and day out.
Our propulsion test operations here at Blue Origin are just truly incredible. I'm always inspired by what the team can accomplish out here in West Texas, down in Huntsville, Alabama. Truly impressive and inspiring stuff. Very excited soon here too to see our test stand 4670 at Marshall Space Flight Center. That historic test stand tested the Saturn V that flew America to the moon. So privileged to be leasing that from NASA Marshall to test the BE-4 and the BE-3U engines.
And what a story for 4670. In the 60s, like you said, it was used to test the Saturn V rocket. And then in the 80s, they did a little bit of space shuttle main engine testing. In the 90s, that test stand actually tested the Russian rocket, the RD-180. And then it went into a little bit of a pause, did some SLS testing. But what a legacy that we've inherited from the RD-180 to the BE-4. That is the new paradigm shift in rocket propulsion.
That's right, Eddie. I have to say, I get to visit our facilities a lot, very lucky, and I love visiting 4670. You can feel the history there, truly a special experience. We are still in a hold at this time, but we'll be right back. We remain in a hold in our countdown today to make sure everything is ready to fly. While we have a moment, let's talk some more about safety, of course, our #1 priority at Blue Origin.
All in all, Jackie, safety drives everything we do at Blue Origin. There's nobody on Team Blue who does a better job of elegantly communicating this than Blue Origin's Director of System Safety Engineering, Andrew Lake.
Andrew, you have such an important role at Blue Origin. So at Blue, when we say safety is a top priority, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, this idea of safety as a priority. And there are a lot of ways to think about this, but I see safety more as a core value that you build a business around. And a business like what we were thinking about for New Shepard and what Blue is doing in general is animated around this idea of safe and reliable systems.
So New Shepard went through this extensive test program, right? And we flew for, what, 5, 6 years before we put people on board. How do you know that you're done?
In a certain sense.
Instilling safety into both the vehicle and the how it operates.
Yeah, there are a couple ways you kind of go about it. The first thing you have to do is you have to set goals, safety performance goals, safety performance thresholds, to help you understand when you've met those thresholds. But in any program, you're never really done. You always want to look for opportunities to improve the system, both operationally, both for safety, both for reliability as well. And so we always have to maintain a humility that comes with flying rockets with these kinds of energies involved. And so we, and the ops team that we're about to go fly this mission, I've never seen a team more diligent, more patient, and the constant awareness and the vigilance required to say, raise issues and make sure they're addressed before we decide that it's time to fly people.
It's taken a team of people to get to this point, to be flying people on New Shepard. What would you say to this team?
I'm humbled to work with this team. It would be lying to say that 3 people who happen to have voted as part of a much larger tech for human flight certification are the people who decided that we're safe enough. Hundreds of people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. Each of them just immensely individually focused on not just the safety of the system, but the reliability of the system. And then there is the work that our team does to kind of partner with them to help them achieve these goals. I am immensely grateful for the opportunity to work with them, and I'm humbled to have an opportunity to kind of lead the safety mission assurance efforts with this team.
Well, tell me this. Would you fly a New Shepard?
I would, and let me just say this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people at Blue that would be excited to fly a New Shepard, and I'm happy to count myself as one of them. It's a fantastic system. It's a very robust system. And yeah, if I ever had the opportunity to fly, I'll wink a little bit at the folks making these decisions. I would be super excited.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we get to go one day.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew Lake, for that incredible discussion of New Shepard's safety systems with backups and backup to the backups, and even in some cases, backup to the backup to the backup. We are still in a hold, as you can see from the screen, so we're going to enjoy some shots of the New Shepard rocket in the West Texas desert.
While we have a moment here, let's talk about New Glenn, our orbital program. Recently, we performed an incredible separation test on the world's largest fairing for our New Glenn rocket.
We're here at NASA's Armstrong Test Facility in Sandusky, Ohio. We took the fairing from New Glenn, the world's largest fairing, to the world's largest vacuum chamber. It's the only place in the world that we can test out this fairing in an environment similar to what the rocket will be seeing in space.
Payload fairing is the nose of the rocket. Inside there is the satellite. The payload fairing's job is to protect the satellite as we ascend through the atmosphere.
This is the largest structure that has ever been tested here. The New Glenn fairing is 72 feet tall. So when we put that on top of the 26-foot test stand, we're taking up 98 feet of vertical space in the 120-foot chamber.
This jettison test is a huge milestone for us.
We will be firing ordnance that will separate the fairing within the chamber. When it separates, the fairing is going to create this huge breathing motion, and we want to make sure the edges aren't going to come in and hit the payload.
This test is important because it helps us qualify the payload fairing and prove out that we actually do separate as designed. So we'll be looking at things like deflections and stresses.
We have done a lot of component level verification. This is really the culmination of putting all those things together.
All cameras are up and waiting trigger.
And it's going to all happen in a split second.
Firing in 3, 2, 1, fire.
It separated as expected. We collected a lot of really good data. After this first shot, we're going to test again. And once that is successful, we say, yes, the fairing is good to go.
It is so amazing, Eddie, to see New Glenn hardware in test. These moments are so incredible along this road to space, and it's very special. I'm going to say something nerdy and lame, Eddie. It's very special to be testing New Glenn at NASA Glenn.
That's right.
We love that. We do remain in a hold here to make sure all systems are go for today's launch, but we'll be right back. We remain in a hold here while mission control ensures that all systems are a go for launch. While we wait, let's talk about an exciting new project at Blue Origin, Orbital Reef. Blue Origin, in partnership with Sierra Space, is developing Orbital Reef, a commercially owned and operated space station to be built in low Earth orbit. The Orbital Reef team includes Boeing, Redwire, Genesis Engineering, Amazon, Amazon Web Services, and Arizona State University, which brings proven capabilities and new visions to provide key elements and services, including unique experience from building and operating the International Space Station. Let's take a look.
There have been dreams for a very long time of robust commercial activities in space with growing populations and so forth. Now we have access to systems that cost less to launch and land, and we now understand how to build destination systems that last for a long time. It's the commercial world in which advanced capabilities get normalized and become a part of everyday life. Orbital Reef is a full-fledged commercial space station.
Think of it as a village. Think of it as many different organizations and people in their own parts of Orbital Reef doing their own activities.
Where all types of companies can come together and do research and/or production, and also provide opportunities for tourists to come and just experience what space is like.
It's an ecosystem that will allow ideas to grow, to germinate, whole new fields and areas of economic arena, new science that we can't even imagine now.
Orbital Reef starts with two strategic partners, Blue Origin and Sierra Space. These two together have the fundamental elements that give us both transportation of cargo and crew and the destination system essentials. In addition, we have a set of expert teammates, which includes Boeing, who will be developing our research module.
We'll be providing crew and cargo transportation with the Starliner, and when the Orbital Reef is operational, we'll provide all of the operations and maintenance necessary to sustain the Orbital Reef.
Genesis, who are developing the single-person spacecraft for suitless extravehicular activity.
ASU is going to bring together this international group of 14 universities to work with Orbital Reef on the ethics and guidelines of research, on how we can bring to bear all of our expertise.
And Redwire, who provide in-space manufacturing.
Leveraging the microgravity environment to push new science, new discoveries, and new commercial applications.
We're working very hard to make sure that Orbital Reef is not just for the entities that have had access to space so far. It's intended to be humanity's footprint in Earth orbit, and that means all the nations and companies and peoples of the world.
I think that Orbital Reef offers us an opportunity at this point in history to really approach the next frontier as humans and to expand beyond the surface of the planet.
Maybe there's a company that wants to manufacture materials in space. Maybe there's a school that wants to send an experiment up. Maybe there's a nation that's ready to send someone into low Earth orbit to inspire their entire nation.
It's limitless, the implications of microgravity research, development, and manufacturing. Every aspect of our life, of industry, of science, will be impacted by the discoveries that we make on Orbital Reef.
This unique environment that's only a couple of 100 miles away from us is both transformative and accessible. It's incredibly exciting.
Our team is absolutely honored and thrilled to have received an award from NASA to continue advancing our Orbital Reef partners alongside our teammates. We actually at Blue Origin do have a lot of great experience with conducting this kind of microgravity research. Eddie, New Shepard has really been the test bed for this at Blue Origin. Can you tell us about that?
I'd love to, Jackie. We've got an incredibly capable payload integration management team that has flown over 11 successful payload flights on New Shepard, getting these researchers 180 seconds of microgravity and just advancing science as we know it. So kudos to them, and I'm just so proud of them, Jackie.
I am as well, Eddie. With that, let's take a quick breather and we'll be right back. Thank you for joining us for our 4th human flight, and thank you for sticking with us throughout this hold. I spoke with our flight director, Nick Patrick, earlier this week, and as you know, holds are, of course, a completely normal part of our launch process. Safety, as we've said multiple times on today's webcast, is always the #1 priority at Blue Origin, so we need to continue to take this time to do those checks and make sure this mission is ready for launch today. Stay tuned. Thank you for joining us for our fourth human flight. As you may have seen on your screen, we did release the hold on the countdown clock. We're at T-minus 9 minutes and 30 seconds until our fourth human flight. Let's toss it to the rocket and stand by for mission control.
All stations, this is the flight director on Channel 1 and UHF voice for the go pull for terminal count and launch. Capsule.
Go.
Booster.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Safety. Capcom.
Go.
Engineering. Go. Copy, all goes. This is the flight director. New Shepard is go for launch. Booster, commence the terminal count.
We'll go flight.
As you just heard, we are go for launch for our fourth human flight. We're so excited for the Roaring 20s crew. Let's take a moment and take in the sights and sounds from Launch Site 1 as the minutes tick down on the launch clock here in West Texas. Okay, as we tick down to launch, Eddie, can you take us through today's New Shepard flight profile?
I'd love to, Jackie. So at T-minus 2.5 minutes, we effectively hand control over to our auto sequence. The flight controllers are essentially hands off. The rocket then gets ready to light the BE-3. Ignition happens at T0, followed by bootstrap and throttle up. Liftoff occurs at T+7 seconds, and that BE-3 engine powers the New Shepard vehicle through the atmosphere. Just before 1 minute, the vehicle reaches max Q, that's maximum dynamic pressure, the point of maximum stress for the structure. At 2 minutes, that main engine shuts off. We call that MECO, and at 2.5 minutes, the New Shepard vehicles separate into two, and the astronauts are free to float about the cabin. The PM reaches apogee at 4 minutes and starts to re-enter the atmosphere due to Earth's gravity. The fins steer back to the landing pad. The drag brakes deploy. The engine restarts for a nice, soft landing. Meanwhile, the astronauts were able to enjoy some microgravity time because the gumdrop shape of the capsule was much slower to re-enter. As that capsule pierces the atmosphere, we see drogues, we see mains, and shortly thereafter, the terminal deceleration system that causes the capsule to land on a cushion of air, that poof of dust. Touchdown, welcome back, astronauts. I'm so excited.
Thanks, Eddie. We're just about T-minus 5 minutes until liftoff. The 6 people on that live rocket are getting close to launching to space. Let's check in with them on the pad. We're just under T-minus 4 minutes to launch of the Roaring Twenties crew. Eddie, you've been so lucky to be down here in West Texas for many a launch. What's happening across Launch Site 1 at this point when we're so close to liftoff?
Well, Jackie, it all starts at Mission Control. They are focused with final preparations, and it's a laser focus. They are there working through their steps, making sure that their systems are ready for launch. And we're just moments away from that here. Those bit checks, like we mentioned, will start at 2.5 minutes.
And the cool thing about those final checks, I mean, our crew is on board. They're feeling, they're hearing this living rocket. Just truly such an exciting moment for them.
Absolutely, that rocket is alive on the launch pad.
Thank you for joining us. As you've noticed, we've just entered what we expect to be a very brief hold here, just a few minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, that hold has been cleared. We're at about 3 minutes until launch. We understand the Roaring Twenties, all 6 astronauts on board our 4th human flight are ready to go. Let's watch and listen as New Shepard goes through those final checks and revs up for today's flight.
And Jackie, as we mentioned, we've now entered auto sequence, so this rocket is going to automatically prep itself for launch. I can't wait to see what shows on our screen as the rocket prepares for liftoff. With just under 90 seconds to go, those aft fins at the base are actuating, going through their bit checks. They provide control authority for the vehicle on ascent and descent. At the same time, we should be able to see the engine nozzle gimbal. It will help maneuver the rocket as its primary form of control. We've entered a brief hold in that final countdown. Our teams will assess. We'll be right back.
That hold has been released. We're at about T-minus 1 minute to liftoff. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to launch this rocket. Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed to our crew. We're handing it over to Mission Control.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1, 0. And liftoff. Shepard's cleared the tower.
And liftoff. Mission Control has confirmed New Shepard has cleared the tower and is on its way to space with our 4th human flight crew.
Godspeed, New Shepard. Godspeed, the Roaring Twenties. Enjoy this ride.
You can see on the lower left-hand side of your screen, we are gaining speed as New Shepard lifts off towards space.
feet.
That beautiful burn on that BE-3 engine, lifting New Shepard towards space.
As we hit T plus 55 seconds, we will enter max Q, the point
Max
where
Q.
aerodynamic stress on the vehicle is at its maximum. We just confirmed max Q, and that BE-3 engine doing some work, 8,000 horsepower equivalent of it, to produce 110,000 pounds of thrust on its way to space. We have a beautiful shot of the BE-3 engine there and its colorless exhaust. That's what happens when you mix liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. That is steam powering the rocket all the way up to the top. Here in 20 seconds, the BE-3 will throttle back, shut down, and will reach main engine cutoff. Stay tuned. There it is. Miko, way to go, BE-3. Thank you for powering our astronauts to space.
That was our main engine cutoff. Shortly here, we'll see separation of the crew capsule and the booster. At this point, our Capcom Kevin Sprague will momentarily cue the astronauts to unbuckle their harnesses and start floating around the capsule. Welcome to Zero Gravity, Gary Lai and crew of the Roaring Twenties. Beautiful shot there of the two separate craft. George Neal, Sharon and Mark Hagel, Jim Kitchen, Marty Allen, and Gary Lai. Welcome to Zero G. Let's listen in as they float about the crew capsule.
What? What? Oh, right. Oh, my God. You see all the circles are
First step, blue control. This is your 1 minute warning. 1 minute warning.
Congratulations to all 6 crew. They crossed that Kármán line. They just officially became astronauts. Absolutely outstanding. You heard that audio online from Kevin Sprague, our capsule communicator, telling our crew, I'm sure they're having an amazing time up there, but they have to start getting ready to buckle back in. Shortly here, both the crew capsule and the booster will be descending.
That's right, Jackie. So unofficial numbers, but we saw an apogee of 351,000 feet. So definitely well into the Kármán line, well into space. Congratulations, astronauts. The rocket is now reaching, this is the booster portion of New Shepard, is reaching its atmospheric pierce point. It's returning from space. Those control surfaces, those wedge fins, those actuated aft fins are now starting to have a little bit of air resistance to push against. The booster will reach its maximum re-entry velocity, which is just under Mach 4. That's 4 times the speed of sound. And it's an incredible booster shape coming back down over the West Texas desert against those Texas blue skies. This is the fun part. The wedge fins, the steering fins, the ring fin, all earning their keep at this point. Really doing some work to bring that propulsion module over the landing pad. What an incredible sight out there. Here shortly, we'll see the air brakes deploy that will cut the velocity of the booster in half. There it is. This is a critical step in slowing the vehicle down before the BE-3 engine is reignited for the final portion of the descent. We had a sonic boom. Man, was that incredible. I love hearing that sound. And the BE-3 engine relights for the final portion of the descent. Touchdown, New Shepard. Welcome back to Earth. What an incredible feat of engineering required to bring this rocket back safely, reuse it. All I can ever say, Jackie, is wow.
Wow, Eddie, truly, no matter how many times we've seen this happen, a live booster landing onto that landing pad will take your breath away. And I have to say, Eddie, the char on the side of that New Shepard booster, there's nothing like it.
Right above that feather looks like, and we see, of course, the New Shepard propulsion module beginning to dump some of the excess propellants. That's a key step for our reusable booster. We'll vent the tanks, we will inert them. That'll maintain the cleanliness throughout and allow that booster to turn around and fly again. We've got a great shot there of the capsule.
There go the drogue parachutes they've deployed on our crew capsule to slow it down. And there go those main parachutes. Those 3 mains will slowly inflate to help slow down the return of the crew capsule. While the parachutes are, of course, essential to provide a gentle touchdown for the crew capsule, New Shepard also has that innovative retro thrust system to make our touchdown even smoother for the Roaring '20s crew flying today. From the blackness of space to the beautiful West Texas desert, our crew is getting an experience right now.
That was a quick 10 minutes. Get ready for the ground rush.
First step, blue control. Stand by touchdown. Stand by touchdown.
Woo! Crew capsule touchdown. Welcome back, the Roaring 20s and astronaut Gary Lai.
That sounds like some happy crew members there. From the sounds of it, maybe all landed back safely and are doing great. We'll get confirmation from Mission Control here shortly.
What a beautiful shot of that booster and capsule in the West Texas desert for what looks like a wholly successful fourth human flight. That West Texas does kick up there for our crew, welcoming them back to Earth. At this point in the mission, our team is preparing landing safety operations and recovery of our astronauts from the crew capsule. We'll be on the ground at the landing site to follow that action in just a bit. And hopefully, Eddie, even talk to some of the world's newest official astronauts. Waves from our crew members looking great back here on Earth through those beautiful windows on New Shepard.
And live footage of 2 reusable spacecraft next to each other. What an accomplishment. Congratulations, Roaring 20s. Congratulations, Team Blue. What a day today.
Just a truly incredible moment. Our astronauts have returned home safely. Our crew team is on the way out to recover them from the capsule. Wow. What a day.
As we've mentioned, it appears to be a safe launch and landing, so absolutely kudos, congratulations to the mission team and Mission Control for really pushing through it, staying determined on that long-term vision of flying people to space today.
Mission Control has officially confirmed, I think we can see it from the windows, but they've officially confirmed they've spoken with all 6 of our astronauts and they are doing great. Our crew has put the roaring in New Shepard 20. I think it is safe to say here today, Eddie, absolutely thrilled for these 6 astronauts.
And we've got this incredible shot right now of the desert, the mountains in the back, the blue skies. I can't wait to hear from these astronauts. What will they have to say about their experience today?
And there's our recovery crew racing through the desert out to the waiting crew capsule. Our recovery team will safe the capsule and ensure that the astronauts are ready to disembark. Shortly thereafter, they'll be followed by their friends and family. Eddie and I know they can't wait to give them a big hug and welcome them back to Earth.
For the friends and family in particular, a moment of anticipation before they welcome their astronauts back to Earth with warm hugs, kisses, and just celebration.
Thank you for joining us for what was a successful fourth human flight. Our recovery team has arrived on site. Stay tuned here because hopefully we'll be able to again hear from some of our crew members about these amazing experiences. Stay tuned. There's crew member 7, Sarah Knights, racing over to wave to the world's newest astronauts. Get that thumbs up from all 6 on board. The Roaring 20s crew is back, and there you see our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, with those stairs getting ready to open the hatch here in just a few moments. Beautiful shot there of our crew with their ride in the background, venting the propellants like Eddie mentioned just a few minutes ago.
And we see the vehicles approaching the crew capsule. That's going to be friends and family. And hopefully, as we said, we'll get a few words from our newly minted astronauts. And we'd be remiss to not mention huge kudos to our crew member 7, Sarah Knights, down there about to open the hatch. Our capsule communicator, Kevin Sprague, that was with our crew through the duration of their flight. Just an amazing role this crew member 7 does, shepherding our crew through this entire experience from astronaut training to touchdown. That's absolutely right, Jackie. It's why we call it Crew Member 7. We, Team Blue, through Sarah and through Kevin, ride with these astronauts to space and back, and we're with them every step of the way.
Welcome back to Earth, astronauts! Thank you! Okay, when you come out, watch your step down here. There's kind of a come on out.
The hatch is open. Welcome back, Gary Lai.
George Neal, congratulations. We should also have, there's Jim Kitchen with the 194. Congratulations. Thank you, Marty Allen, for riding to space today.
As we promised, allergies did not hold Marty back today.
And there's Miss Sharon Hagel with the fist pump. Congratulations.
And last but certainly not least, Mark Hagel. Welcome back, Mark.
Camera's over here. Whoa.
It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. You loved it? Oh, you got. I want you to do it. You're next. I'm gonna. It was very
I don't know that I could even, words could do that justice. You almost have to feel it.
How was it going up for you? Was it everything you'd hoped for? Was it everything you'd expected it to be?
It was different. I mean, I don't know, because I've never been in the centrifuge, so I didn't, I felt my skin pulling taut, and I think more dramatic than even the 0G was the throttle back from 3G. When we throttled down, I felt like I was rising there. And even the entire time I felt I was in 0G, I felt like I was falling towards the ceiling. So it was intense, and I did get a little bit of a feeling of vertigo.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. And I know most of the astronauts have said in the past that they haven't felt nauseous. I did feel a little bit of nausea for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the windows?
Oh, yeah, it was like being outside. It was like being...
Wow, that's so good.
Absolutely. It was a beautiful, clear day. I don't know exactly what we were seeing, but we were seeing... I'm so overcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for Team Blue. Thank you for this opportunity. I will never forget it.
Thank you. Thank you for making this real and making it a possibility for us to be able to send people. It happened.
I was worried there. 45-minute hold. We were only supposed to have a 30-minute hold, and then we scrubbed.
Yeah, did you talk to George about that?
Do you want me to put this on?
Jim,
show me, what do you...